So, speaking of television, speaking of record-setting eras, it seems like AEW is peaking right now because according to Fightful, sources at Warner Brothers Discovery say that they're in a deep extension talk with All Elite Wrestling. Considering that they've just added Collision to their slate of programming and they're already talking about an extension, does this talk about the success of AEW, or does this talk about, or is this a reflection of where Warner Brothers Discovery is as a company?
Why not both? Both could be true.
Mm, elaborate.
Obviously, no. I'm not so deep into this type of stuff. This is usually your department, but off of the way where I'm sitting and I'm looking at it with my vocabulary, I personally think that. No, I personally think that it looks like Warner Bros. Has a fave. They're definitely very close with AEW. I don't think Tony Khan's a great businessman, but in terms of this, like he be turning it the fuck up because, like I said, like how did we just get Collision not too long ago and we're already discussing an extension? Because we don't know what extension means. Extension could mean like another day out the week that they're
Mm-hmm.
planning on doing something. You know, are they going to claim a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday? Like, what are they doing?
Right.
Um, does that mean they're getting another TV show in general that's maybe not actual wrestling but something else? But for them to just be rapidly growing with such a major company program,
Yeah.
I think speaks volumes about AEW
Right.
and how they're again always going to be major competition. I think it's very good for them, very good for Warner Bro. But like I said, this is your department, Jordan, so you can pick it up from here.
Say less. So here's my take on this entire thing. I feel like All Elite Wrestling. First of all, there's a lesson in this, a life lesson. Go where you're wanted. Go where you're wanted. There will always be space for you in places that want you, in places that value you, in places that desire you. That's the life lesson. So that's number one. Number two, All Elite Wrestling has evolved from a t-shirt company into arguably the most valuable property that Warner Brothers Discovery has. If you look at everything else, they ain't doing too hot. I mean, considering that if you follow the DC franchise, the Flash flopped, um, bad. In addition to that, because of what's happening with the writer's strike, there isn't a lot of new content being developed. But AEW is putting on weekly television. They're putting on weekly television on multiple stations. They're drawing viewers. They have the replay value going on, and I feel like what's happening is just that it's a reflection of both, like you said. um I don't know if I could talk about Tony Khan as a businessman because I don't know what he is as a businessman. You know what I mean? It seems that he's made some great sound decisions. If for nothing else, he partnered up with a media conglomerate that wanted him, making it a lot easier to go into talks about an extension, talks about, kind of taking place and taking space on TBS and TNT. And just the fact that they're already talking extensions is just an exciting thing because this means more money for the wrestlers. I expect to see, when it comes to AEW, a lot more live events, a lot more, you know, grander television, but they're running. Listen, AEW's running is getting ran a bag, and it's because Warner Brothers Discovery sees the value in it. It's so funny because like Coach Jonathan Coachman, he put out a tweet a
I
couple weeks
haven't
ago.
heard that name in years. What the
In years,
hell?
right? He put out a tweet some weeks ago about Saturday night television, Saturday night wrestling. Coachman, AEW. I'm gonna see if I can find the tweet. But
Now you got
essentially,
his theme song stuck in my head. Thanks to you.
hard hitting, back breaking. His I'm not gonna lie, his song was a little Ayo,
If he ain't do nothing, he came out with a fire ass theme song that is part of
literally.
my my playlist, bro. But go ahead.
So he essentially he put out a tweet and he was talking about um. There we go. He was talking about just like the fact that Saturday night, here we go. He says, Kyle, what do I know? Been out of the business for too long. You don't know AEW fans. You're an idiot. Just watch. Tony will show you. Let me repeat myself for those except Kyle who clearly listen.
Except
Rest
Kyle.
right.
Shout out to Kyle.
Wrestling 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 shoes. He was grammatically incorrect. He said wrestling shoes do not work on Saturdays. I think he meant to say shows. Never have, never will. Now you all can try and come up with something else, but try and understand. Some of us who are in the business kind of know what we're talking about. All that said, I would never float about being right and an entire fan base being wrong. Not my style. What I will say in response to that, I obviously Jonathan Coachman being in the WWE, having a prominent on-screen role, definitely knows a lot more about the business than us regular fans do. However, whoever is running AEW a bag has a lot more access to data than all of us do. Only they know the impact that AEW has on the spreadsheet and on the business portfolio of Warner Brothers Discovery. And clearly, if they were given another show, and they're already in deep extension talks. Uh, Clearly, they're making an impact. So I don't know. Maybe we all just are dumb, but I think AEW is doing well, and they're going in a positive trajectory. So there's that.
I just can't imagine the way Tony Khan makes his business deals like behind closed doors. Just because I imagine him someone so fidgety talking,
He
but
probably got somebody else to speak for him. But
right,
we don't know what he's like. We don't know what he's like in the boardroom. I'm gonna keep it at that. But I mean, listen, if he's getting all this money, he doing something right. So
right.
he's doing something right. But we want to know how you guys feel about AEW being in extension talks. Let us know in the comments below. But we're going to move on.